Ceiling looks nice. Water accumulates in there. Should probably have a hole drilled. And I'm thinking I want this area to be a walkway to go forward to that hatch. So I want to put in some more flanges like this down lower for another board like that. People have asked me, what's this thing up here? Some people think it's a gas tank. It's flotation foam. And somebody mixed foam, poured it in here, and this is the shape that it made. And it's a little bit above level here. So I'm thinking of cutting this down and then pouring more foam in the areas that didn't get filled in enough, and then making another shelf in here. The lower part is good to have the foam because it's a crash locker. This is where the boat would hit something if it's gonna hit. This is what it looks like with the foam cut back at about the level that will be the shelf. And this is the cardboard template in the shape of the shelf. And it fits in this space just perfectly. I also made cardboard templates that fit in the places where these two pieces of missing core are in the forward deck. And once I'd made the templates to the right size, then I used those to mark and cut pieces of honeycomb core that fit in the space where the old deck core was taken out. And this is 1/2-inch honeycomb, which is lighter than the original balsa core for the deck and will never rot. I also took this opportunity to make a cardboard template for a bulkhead that would basically be the opening into that forward part of the pontoon. And back in my garage, I'm basically marking a piece of honeycomb and cutting these shapes out of it. And you can cut the honeycomb core with just a regular razor knife, like a carpet knife or box cutter. And this is one county south of my house, at my parents' garage, where I'm staying for a while at their house. And I'm cutting the shapes out of pieces of fiberglass. This is pretty thick fiberglass. It's called 1708. It's got woven fibers sort of in a diagonal pattern and a piece of chopped strand mat sewn to one side of it. And I'm basically cutting out pieces that will go over those two deck cores. There'll be one layer on each side of those and 2 layers on each side of the bulkhead. And it helps to wet out the chopped strands. You always want to put the chopped strand side down, but it helps to wet that side out before you lay it down. So I'm doing sort of 1/2 of this and then the other half, and wetting out the back of the chopped strand mat before laying it down. Because this is so many layers of fiberglass sewn together into one sheet that it makes it a lot easier to saturate the whole thing all the way through if you do the underside first before laying it down. And that's 2 layers of that on the first side. I can clearly see honeycomb throughout this whole layup. It's really, really transparent. With such thick glass, this is really, really nice. It's a little while later, and the resin isn't completely hard, but it's sort of rubbery and could be peeled out of the Tupperware that it was in with the roller. And if you catch it at this stage of hardness, you can trim the stuff hanging over the edges with a razor knife instead of coming back the next day with a grinder. And it's a little bit faster this way, but it's also quieter and doesn't like throw up a lot of dust in what is a retirement community here. And this is the next morning, and all the resin has hardened on that side. So I can flip it over and then do exactly the same thing on the other side, which gets even more redundant now that you've seen it done on the first side. So this will be an extreme fast forward montage. And I also took the opportunity to lay the fiberglass on both sides of the little pieces of decor. And that's pretty much all I got done this week. It's Friday, and I'll see if maybe I can get this stuff finished and in the boat by next Friday.